Okay, if you have just recently completed your session sign up, I'm adding you to the moderator form. Moderators, there will be an update coming here.
Also, just so you know, I am monitoring the EdcampHOME Twitter feed and my own personal Twitter feed. If you have a question, you can send it in to me. And my organizers are doing that whenever they get the chance to do that as well.
Your organizers, you own us?
You want to be in. Somehow your session title was a little off.
Hello?
What did I break? What's your session title? Uh-oh. What's going on here? Simon Miller needs. I need to know. I gotta go back and do some reconnaissance work here. Google Scripts sharing. Information.
Shannon, I saw your tweet. If you take that, go down to the bottom of your GOA, look for the link, grab the embed code, send it to Sean White at SWPAC, so just tweet it back to you.
Simon, I never got your form submitted for the moderator link. Let me. Christy, I'm trying to represent. I got it. Simon.
All right.
Yeah, Sean, emails will be fine. If you have something,
There we go. Suzanne, I just had to mute you. I'm sorry. Let me see what happens if I... Oh, that's me. This is you. How do I unmute you? This is awesome. I can't unmute you. You were just buzzing. So I had to... Oh, there you are unmuted and still buzzing. Ooh, better.
There are people in sessions. Kelly, you are a genius. This kind of. There are people talking in things that you automated with the power of.
I could cry right now a little bit.
Do we need a moderator for Dave in the classroom still? Because Michael Cortano second sounds like maybe jump in there and do that.
I can't hear you, Suzanne. Are you talking? Oh, you are, but I can't hear you. Good. All right. Your mouth is moving. That's good.
Moderators, I'm going to be refreshing your attendee list because we have more people that have signed up. So I'm going to be coming here in just a second. Be sure to go back and check your links.
Okay, so once again, moderators check the link. Recheck.
We've only had a few more people sign up, but yes.
Sean, yes, we're going to add more participants, so if you want to check, recheck. So Kelly, will they get a second email with more participants in it?
It's all on a shared spreadsheet, and I just keep restarting it so the new attendees just get filtered into their session.
So then they should check that spreadsheet, maybe refresh it?
I just refreshed it, yep. So for instance...
Do they need to refresh it on their end?
They could, yeah.
Yeah. Refresh that spreadsheet where you got your initial participants, and there should be some new participants. I'm sorry.
tell you what, from here on out, if there's anybody new, I will highlight them in yellow before I resort it so that you know it's a new attendee. Let me see what happened here. Simon, got it. We have a new topic. If anybody wants to join a new topic, it is now Google Script sharing. And actually, we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We have plenty of topics with open rooms. Even if it's just open by 1 or 2 attendees, we have spots available. I'd say we can still hold another 60, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, another 60 participants.
Okay, so if you're a participant, just go to the session signups, and if there's some there, we still got spots. Jump in there.
Kelly, I'm responding to Amy Condage's tweet right now.
Okay, thank you. I just saw that. Yep.
Sean Seabarth wants to know, should we stop at 10 a.m. no matter what time we start? The answer would be yes, right?
Do we want to run until 10:10? So
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, oh, I can hear you. There are not many people I have been able to hear. Hold on, let me pause the organizers. All right. I'm Shannon.
Hi, Shannon. I'm Felisa.
Hi, Felisa. And we have one more. We lost Suzanne. She was buzzing at me, and so then I just muted her. I feel badly.
Okay, I don't know what I'm doing, but this is very exciting to me.
Well, I'm excited that you can be here. Let's see what happens with, looks like Jean, and then we'll see if we can get started.
Hi, Jean.
Hi, nice to meet you all.
Oh, there's Jean. Oh, look, there's chats. This is all sorts of things that I have to figure out in my life. Okay. I have no idea what I'm doing. I have done many an Edcamp, but never an Edcamp online like this before.
Yeah.
So, yeah, here's more. This is exciting. Felicia, where are you from?
I live in Long Beach, but I teach with LA Unified.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Is that the district with the iPads?
Yeah.
All over the news?
But I don't have any.
Oh, I thought everyone.
No, not everyone.
Good to know.
Yes.
And it looks like
coming. They're coming.
One day.
Who's the new
there's
person?
Katina, maybe?
Katina?
Hello.
Hi. There you are. All right, so we have Katina, Felisa. I'm going to add an extra syllable to that.
Isaacson.
And then Jean. There's Jean.
Hi.
Hi. Excellent.
Hi, Jean. I think I met Jean at an Edcamp, right?
I went to the first one.
I recognize your Twitter picture.
Oh, okay.
I think we all look a little different than our Twitter pictures today.
Way different for me.
All right, so we can get started, although I should probably have an ear out for the organizers because I think we're supposed to still end on time. Let me double check that really quickly on Twitter.
Actually, I think they said 10 after the original stop time.
10 after? Perfect.
Yeah, they were just
Excellent.
discussing that when I joined you guys. Let's see.
Yes, I had to mute them in order to hear everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah.
If only we could have one conversation in one ear and one in the other.
Right.
Like our kids can do, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, there's John. I recognize John's face. Hi.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. How are you? Oh, and one
I'm
more.
okay. I'm
Good.
trying to figure out
wow.
what's going on here. Let me see. Hold on.
This is so cool.
This is really cool.
Okay.
If we can get it all working. Suzanne, how are you doing? Ooh. Can we hear you?
Suzanne?
She was the one who was squealing at me before. We were getting feedback. No. Christine?
Hello. I'm sorry.
Hi, don't apologize at all.
classes. They're taking me some time. I'm like, I'm not sure what I'm doing.
No one knows what they're doing. Well, actually, someone probably does, but don't. It's not me.
It's not me.
Well, I'm glad to have joined. Very exciting.
Fabulous. So, I just agreed to moderate a session, and this is an interesting one because I'm not quite sure what it meant as far as whether it was supposed to be like hosting EdCamp style PD at your school or if it was doing EdCamp style, work in your classroom. So did anyone come in here with a thought as to what they were looking for?
No, both.
Both. Okay.
I think more people have probably tried EdCamp. I think that
I lost you guys.
I think people have probably tried to do the EdCamp with their staff for professional development, is what I think people do. But I don't know. Sometimes I think it'd be better I think it'd be cool in the classroom, but I think people would be kind of scared of that. So, but I do know places where they've been trying it for just their a little bit more for professionals for staff development, and I think it's been working out better. Which would always be nice. It'd be nice if you could actually choose what you wanted to learn on like the day that you come in on Monday, and instead of being forced to do something you don't really want to do and just hating life. So
I just wanted to jump in if I could, because we're thinking about doing an EdCamp for a PD Wednesday. We do Wednesday afternoons. We have about 3 hours. I'm an elementary principal, so morning there's admin in the room. But we're thinking about, doing it EdCamp style. The issue that we're coming across, which I would love some help with, is how do we present it to teachers in a way that first they understand, and second I'm worried that they'll feel like we didn't have anything to do, and so we put it on them. And there are enough people right now in our district that have attended an EdCamp. I'm thinking of tapping their experience to launch it, and it'll only be about 2 sessions worth by the time we do a decent introduction. So I don't know what your thoughts are about, if you had never attended an EdCamp and someone threw this out for you on a PD day, how would you take it?
I would love it.
yeah.
Right. I
want to be you to be my principal.
Oh. Can you guys still hear me? This is Christine.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
I've lost the Google Hangout screen. Can anyone help me?
We can hear you.
Okay, so I can't see you, just so you know.
Okay, maybe it opens separately. Check down at the bottom. I'm on an Apple, though. Check down at the bottom, maybe. Sometimes they pop up separately.
I think I did, and I shut the window.
No.
Okay, so maybe we did lose her.
And Suzanne is mute, I think?
Yeah.
Here I am.
Oh,
okay,
there you are.
Hi.
You're good. You're good.
Can I answer Katina's question?
Yes, please.
So you're talking about doing it for for the staff first?
Or for the staff? For the staff, I mean?
This would actually be 6 elementary school sites altogether.
Oh, okay. So that would be my first worry, but that's great. Because when it's too small, I found that the ed camps were not rich enough, so the conversations were static. And so you kind of walk away feeling like, oh, I don't know any more than I did. So if you want to sort of have a momentum with that idea of ed camp, that one, there has to be a lot of people. And two, and I don't know what the school cultures are like, but there has to be a willingness to share. So if people are sort of, I just know where I'm from. I'm from the Sunshine Coast, BC, and sometimes you have some people who are all willing to share and some people who are not. And so how do you create that culture? Because I find EdCamp, why we're here is because we like to share and we want to share, but it's voluntary. We're drawn to it. Versus when you have it in a sort of a working environment, people feel like people feel that they have to be there, right? So it's sort of how do you see through that tension? That'd be my thoughts on that.
Yeah, thank you. That's good. And I think we'll probably have about 110. I think that's our total teaching staff. But you're right. The choosing versus the work time part is a little bit of a disequilibrium to the real EdCamp model.
Can I, a couple of things. One, I have actually presented on this before. I'm in an independent school, though, so it's a little bit different. But someone that you might want to talk to is Jen Filosa, Jenfilso. Losa. Sorry about that. And she's actually here somewhere, and she's from Maryland and worked on Edcamp Baltimore with me. But she did this in her district, and they brought together, it was a little bit of what Christine was saying, they brought together 3 different schools. And I think that that really helped, and it was a part of the district's professional development day. But people had the choice of either doing the traditional whatever they normally do or signing up for this Edcamp style PD. And I think that that was what made things really successful for them, is that it was 3 different schools coming together, like Christine said, and going back to the idea of choice, they had a choice of what they wanted to do. And she surveyed them, and the results were fantastic. I think 80-some%, 90-some% said that they would do it again. But I will say that it can work in a smaller setting. Like I said, I'm in an independent school, so I have, you know, a small faculty, and it does work, but it is a little bit more static. I will totally agree with that. I would not, you know, I would not say that that's not a truth.
Awesome. Thank you. That's really helpful. You said Filosa?
Yes, and I think that's her Twitter handle. Let me,
Good.
J.A. Filosa is her Twitter handle, so Jafilsoa.
Thank you.
No problem. It was called Edcamp 3P.
Oh, cute.
Because all the schools started with a P.
Yeah, awesome.
That's cute.
That's not a bad thing to think. Just think, okay, here, you can go and sit and listen to the normal lecture, or you can go to the cool Edcamp style. That might persuade people pretty quickly then. You know, maybe like, hey, maybe I will try something new then. Hey, this isn't that bad.
I can't remember, is Bill, the video is pretty compelling. I mean, it gives you a real sense of the potential and the positive aspect of an Edcamp versus me yammering on about how great I think it is. Really just seeing it in action before we move into that model. And then also, like I said before, a couple people that have really been to one and really gotten that amazing benefit, for them to just share a little bit about their experience. And the other piece is really emphasizing it's not a presentation. It can have that aspect if you need to show something in particular, but it's really about quality conversation, really getting into the meat of something, whatever that might be that you're interested in. Anyway, I think we'll definitely try it, but Jen is a good lead because I'd like to kind of work out any kinks in anticipation of, you know, kinks. That's what happens.
Yeah. If Shannon, you said you organized Edcamp Baltimore?
Yes.
That's cool. Boy, that was a good one. How many people did you have there?
We had a little over 100. We had about 160 registrants, and then a little over 100 attend, and this is its second year, or was its second year. No, it's exciting.
I think I made a little list of the SmackDown from the first one from a year before.
You did. That's why I recognized you.
I'm always big on making the SmackDown lists, and I don't know. But yeah, you know, I have to say, we just did, I helped out a little bit. We only had 3 people, and I was one of the 3 for Edcamp Austin, and that was pretty recent. It was in October.
Wait, 3 participants?
With 3 organizers.
Oh, organizers. I was like, what?
Yeah, it was a really small Edcamp. It was just this talk.
Very intimate.
We had it in a Starbucks. It was awesome.
That's actually not a bad idea.
No, so I would say we probably had about the same amount of people. Like, that was our first one, and so it was a small amount of people organizing, is what I thought. And I came on a little bit later, but you're always really hard on yourself, and you think, okay, this is never going to work, and blah blah blah. And then when it actually happened, I think it goes pretty well. Like, teachers kind of take over a little bit, and you know, they can't all be perfect, and not everyone's going to be happy. But boy, I mean, if you just kind of prepare and try and get things done, it's really like rewarding. Like when you could see people having like cool discussions and stuff, and I was kind of just walking around. I didn't attend any session. I just kind of walked around and made sure everything was happening. I was just like, boy, this is one of the cooler things that I think I've done in a long time, you know, just if you can pull it off. So I think it's definitely worth the try to, you know, if you can't fail, you know, it's not worth trying.
Does anybody have any advice does anybody have any advice if I were to try to do something like this within my school? I have a school of about 50 plus faculty. If I were to start this, talk to my principal, but my principal will let me do whatever I want to a certain degree, but the technology for most people is very limited. Any advice on that?
I've led a couple of different
There's
events.
someone underneath you.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I've led a couple of different events in my district. And last year we had a full-fledged Ed Camp. It was the 4th day of a learning conference. The first 3 days was a traditional conference, and then the last day was Ed Camp style. And that, of course, was open up to people from all over to attend. So that was a great way for us to introduce the Ed Camp model to our district, to everyone. And then later on, this past fall, we did an unconference day. So one of the things with EdCamp is that for it to be a true EdCamp, you open it up to outside participants also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if you do an unconference model, which EdCamp is, you can still follow that model, but have it tailored for your schools. So we did our professional development day unconference style, and it was just the secondary teachers. And in order to kind of get them comfortable with style, we actually picked a topic. So it was an unconference day on assessment. And then we, so the whole unconference day went around that topic, and we had sent out a pre-survey to them. So it was still participant-driven, and we had them give input, just like sort of how today went, right? So we asked people ahead of time, like the organizers did today, of go ahead and give us some topics that you'd like to discuss. We kind of went ahead and got some moderators and set it up a lot like today's setup. So that helped because people weren't walking in just completely to a blank board, which was kind of overwhelming for someone who had never seen or heard of that type of model before. So that was very successful. And we didn't do any emails. We made a Yap app, and we loaded the Yap on everyone's iPads. We sent out the directions, had them do that. So they had it all on their iPad, and we pushed the envelope. It was awesome. It was great. But, you know, that might be something that you want to do is just pick a topic. And we did it half a day. We didn't do it a whole day. Yeah. So just pick a topic and then have your faculty kind of start with that and ease them into it.
I do like the idea of the unconference you said, so that bringing people outside of, because I work for LA Unified and it's very insular in terms of not wanting other people, but if we invite people from other districts to also participate, I think that will show those people who are a little hesitant to change that it's kind of something we need to do. Right. That's in a position I'm at. And I also like the idea of, I was laughing because you said a regular conference for the first 3 days and then the Ed Camp. Right. That will show them how much more awesome it is because the other part's just them talking to them. So.
Well, and what was great was on the Ed Camp day, they could talk about what they learned at the other sessions and share and kind of expand on that. So I liked that model. I think we're going to do it again this year. So you guys come on down. We're in Birmingham. Come on down and join us. EdCamp. It's EdCamp Mountain Brook. So I'm an organizer for EdCamp Birmingham and EdCamp Mountain Brook. Okay. So y'all come on down.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I really like that you shared that. We're in our district. We're the largest district in Petaluma. In elementary, we have lots of rural single schools. The principal is the superintendent. It's very weird. And so they talk about breathing your own air. They have a staff of maybe 20, and they're the district. So it'd be really nice if we could put out an invite to all those folks too, and just introduce them to the concept, and also get people who actually work in the same town but never have an opportunity to interact professionally, get them together in a room. Yeah. So I like that. Thank you.
Well, one thing that was really powerful is that we had student ambassadors during the conference, and the last day, being in EdCamp, we still had the student ambassadors, and they kind of perked up, and they were like, what's going on?
So
and we explained.
Did the student ambassadors participate in a hangout beforehand so they knew how to do it kind of thing? Or
no, they showed up that day, and they were just meet and greet. Like, go here to get the app. Okay. This is for the full-fledged EdCamp day. You know, go here, here's where you can find the bathrooms, that type thing. But then they saw the session board, and they heard about what we were doing, and they said, wait a minute, can we participate? And they went and started putting sessions up on the board. And one of the sessions they did was, you know, students want teachers to know about using social media in the classroom, and they led it. And then there was another student that led a session on taking ownership of learning, students taking ownership of learning, and it was a question and answer session with students and teachers. So it ended up being really powerful that students, we hadn't planned on students participating, but they were there and they jumped in, and that was a huge eye-opener for me. That was fun.
I have to say, we had students, we almost put it as a must that we had to have some students run some sessions at EdCamp Austin. It worked out really well. I mean, you've even, it's really powerful even if you just have students that come up and they go, okay, well, this is, you know, my favorite app, and this is why it's my favorite app. And if teachers actually even see that, and it's funny because I don't know if there were plants in my old school district, but it sure didn't seem like they were, because, you know, one of them was like, I really like Google Drive, and then they went through all the things that they do with Google Drive, and I think if students tell that to teachers, it kind of like takes the ones that don't aren't really understanding how great. I love Google Drive, so I mean, it doesn't shock me. It just shocked me that that's what they said, but that it kind of slaps them in the face a little bit and is like, wow, if these 16 and 17-year-old kids enjoy Google Drive and are getting all these things from it, I should be, that should kind of motivate me that I need to learn it a little bit more, or at least be able to, you know, speak with them so that I understand what Google Drive is as well. And it can kind of be a reality dose, but we did have the students help, and that was one of the things I insisted on. It makes me think that even if you opened up your EdCamp, I mean, why couldn't you invite, I'm not in the classroom anymore, I was 19 years in the classroom, but what about teachers, students, and even parents, like coming in and be open, have a day where you completely kind of open with the parents, and you can kind of have open discussions.
That would terrify some teachers.
That would, it would, but
But that's the thing, you know, education is changing, and they don't have to understand. You got to, you know, talk to people who, okay. Keep going, John.
I'm just kind of throwing ideas out there, but I think it'd be kind of cool sometimes, you know. I just think, I'm like, boy, if you want to open up and be like, okay, we had just done a podcast where we talked about branding your school. If you want to be completely open about branding your school and like letting people like tell your story, you could come in there and have the parents go through an EdCamp and be like, yeah, this is what we're really trying to learn. We're trying to give teachers choice. We have students talking about things. This is what we're learning at school. That would get some positive stories out in your community for sure.
Totally. Can I pop in for 1 second with a couple of moderatory things? First of all, there's an EdCamp next week that's called Edcamp ITP, Imagine the Possibilities, and it's in Plymouth, Mass, and I know nothing more about it than the website is. It's a student-run EdCamp. It's someone's senior project. And so a little bit of what you guys are saying. Project? Yes, it's a high school senior project, and it's Edcamp ITP, Imagine the Possibilities. But we have a couple of questions in the QA section that I wanted to address really quickly. And so the first one is, someone didn't hear Jen Filosa's Twitter handle correctly. It is JAFILOSA, Jen Filosa. And so that question is taken care of. Yes, I can add it to the chat, but I don't know if our viewers will be able to see it.
You're right. You're right.
That's okay. You guys will. You count.
I'll tweet it out.
Perfect. Thank you.
John.
And then someone, Scott McClintock said, I created the schedule ahead of time, and people were already pre-populating the sessions, generating some excitement. So I think
that's
what
important.
Scott's pointing to is a little bit of the model that we used here, where people were seeing the schedule as it populates. That goes into that difference between the EdCamp and the unconference style, which gets a little tricky, because it really isn't an EdCamp if the schedule is set ahead of time, but it can be kind of unconference style and different from the rest of PD. And then Scott also said, just dropped in, excited to be running an unconference for our faculty on Monday. Last minute advice. Anybody have any advice for Scott?
That's hard. But you know what? I always think if you go to the regular EdCamp site, one of the things that helped us out is Dan Callahan and those guys, they share the slides that are easy to show. We ran them on a loop at EdCamp Austin, and I think that kind of helped out a little bit. I mean, it can always get a little bit of last minute help. And then I just wanted to say, Shannon, are you sure it's not EdCamp ICP, which would be the Insane Clown Posse? Because that could be a whole different EdCamp, and I don't think we want to promote that. That's
no, I promise it's ITP.
Okay, good. it. I was like, wow, we just gave that's a crazy. The Juggalos will be at that Edcamp, I think.
I mean, again, we've already created Edcamp Starbucks while we've been here today.
I
we
love
can
Edcamp
create Edcamp Insane Clown Posse, I guess.
We don't need to give them any more ideas, I don't think. I think they already have those.
The last question was, Peggy asked about the Yap app. Suzanne, can you talk a little bit more about it's awesome. I'm a big fan of Yap. And can you explain that a little bit more?
So you create it actually online on your computer. And if you go to yap.us.
And can you spell that, Suzanne?
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat too. But it's
YAPP.
YAPP.us. And so you create it. Let's see if I can. John, will you type it in for me? I got it. Okay, so you create it online, and then after you have created it online, and it's great. It's a template. They walk you through it. You can put the schedule in it. You can list sponsors. You can list who the organizers are and go ahead and put their pictures in. Have the schedule in there, not sessions, but the schedule. You can post announcements to the attendees, and once you finish it and publish it, it gives you a URL, a QR code, the directions on what to send out to your participants, so you can send that to them. They can go ahead and load it. But the one thing I love about it is as you make changes online to the app, it pushes out the changes to them, so they don't have to keep updating their app. It'll notify them that there's a change. It's free, it's easy, it's great to use. So definitely look at that. We showed that in our SmackDown and said, hey, how could you use this? My son loves Yap. He has made his own recipe book on Yap and pushed it out to the family. Oh, and the other great thing is if you have participants who haven't used Twitter before or are used to posting pictures online, that's built into the app, so they can start sharing pictures of the event. They can start chatting in the app or posting questions, discussions, and they don't have to have a Twitter account. They don't have to have an Instagram account. It's all built into the app. Very user-friendly.
And they love Edcamps. I know that they sought us out for Edcamp Baltimore to create our app. I know that they did it for Edcamp Metro DC, Edcamp New Jersey, I think. I might be lying now. So they are definitely available. So Peggy's asking, for her Edcamp Phoenix in March. And so definitely seek them out, Peggy, because they would be more than happy to help. And they actually did all of the work for us at Edcamp Baltimore. I don't know if that was true for you, Suzanne.
We put our info in, but I know that if they didn't do it for you, you could pay an extra $5, I think, and have your own custom URL. You could pay $5 and have them upload your spreadsheet, which is nice, especially if you're going to have a lot of sessions. So, yeah,
they're great customer service. They really helped out a lot. If you call them, so Peggy, George, call those guys up, and they give you tons of good customer service.
And also do a Google search for Yap and Edcamp, and you'll see all the different Edcamps that have a Yap app. And I just downloaded them all. I became a Yap junkie. Everybody, I wanted to see everybody.
That's actually a really good idea.
The pictures, and I was checking out the session boards, how people were doing it. Their snacks. So, because I'd love to have an Edcamp. I'd love to have an Edcamp of Edcamp organizers and us talk about.
So meta.
Yeah, us talk about, hey, what have you done? What worked for you? How did you get those cool cookies at Camp Buffalo? So,
You're like a member of the insane Yap posse.
I'm a stalker. I'm an Edcamp stalker.
That's funny.
I love it. Suzanne, I'm following you on Twitter, so we can talk later because I have some ideas for you.
Okay, good. I love it.
I love it. It's 1:11. I don't know what we're supposed to do now except maybe move on.
Yeah, I think maybe just close it out, end the hangout.
Yeah. Yes. New stop time for first session is for me it's 1:10. For you guys, right. I don't know what time it is. Perfect.
I don't either.
Thank you all so much. This was really fantastic and so much fun to get to know
Agreed.
you guys.
Yeah, thanks. Nice to
Thanks,
meet all of
Anna.
you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.